This is 10-year-old Johnny at his house in New Haven, Connecticut, with his mother Rose and his little sister Lily. He attends public elementary school and is in 5th grade. Johnny's father passed away 4 years ago from medical complications, and his mother works 2 jobs in order to make ends meet for the family. Most of the time, she can only afford the necessities. The West family is considered to live in an impoverished area of New Haven.
This is Johnny's classroom at school. The children at school are mostly minorities like Johnny. He has a lot of other children in his class, and his school is understaffed, so one teacher has many more children than normal in his or her class. This already makes it very difficult for each child to get enough attention, and Johnny's teacher is also brand new to the school and still finding her way. The school goes through teachers very quickly, and Johnny is used to having a few different teachers throughout the year. Johnny's school's DRG, or District Reference Group, is Group I. This means that Johnny's school is in the group of the least affluent schools in comparison with schools in other cities in Connecticut. Since they are in Group I, the state provides Johnny's school with breakfast and lunch for the kids each day. This is a huge help to Rose because she does not have to worry about providing food for breakfast and lunch.
Rose does her best to keep the financial stress that she deals with away from her kids. However, Johnny has started to pick up on it. He's starting to become worried about not having enough money, and it's beginning to affect him. Recently, Johnny has needed to take care of his sister and provide meals for the two of them, while Rose needs to be at work. It's even starting to cut into the time that Johnny needs to finish his homework.
Johnny's favorite class in school is science class. He loves doing experiments and dreams of being a scientist one day. Due to the changes at home and his mom working a lot, his grades have started to slip. He didn't perform well on the NGSS standardized assessment, which is all science. This really surprised him.
In March of 2020, the coronavirus became a national pandemic, and children in Connecticut were sent home to do virtual or electronic learning. When this happened, Rose was very worried about what this would mean for her son Johnny and daughter Lily. Her main job as a certified nursing aide required her to be at work while her kids should be at home attending classes. She was also very worried because she did not have the proper technology for both kids to be successful in school.
Since Johnny has been completing school at home, he's been struggling greatly. His mom needs to be at work, but he really needs her home. Between balancing school and helping take care of his sister, his grades have begun to slip. His school has provided Chromebooks for students to bring home in order to be present for e-learning, but the West family doesn't have a stable Wi-Fi connection, so he finds himself missing most of the class. He misses being in school and feeling like a normal 10-year-old.
Since the pandemic has begun, Rose has needed to provide all 3 meals for her children each day since they are no longer attending school in person. She is struggling to afford her groceries each week, and the Wests usually do not have enough food at home.
The pandemic has since slowed down, and the kids have been able to return back to school. Johnny has fallen so far behind in his studies due to distance learning, and he now has to repeat the 5th grade before moving on to 6th. He must complete all of the work that he has missed.
Johnny's story is the reality for many children living in poverty all throughout the United States. During a national pandemic, this reality becomes even harsher. Without the proper technology and support from family, the children could be missing out on their public education. Living in poverty is hard enough for these families, but with school going virtual and many people potentially losing their jobs, it only increases the burden put on these families.
Johnny is one specific case that sheds light on the much larger issue of the influences of poverty on minorities, creating obstacles for public education and opportunities that other higher-income white families are more easily granted.
Here's some statistics that we found emphasizing the issues minorities in impoverished areas face. 18% of Black 8th graders are proficient or above in reading or math, compared to 45% of white 8th graders.
23% of Latino 8th graders are proficient or above in reading or math, as compared to 45% of white 8th graders.
There is a 2-year gap in reading and a 1.5-year gap in math between 4th graders growing up in poverty and their higher income peers.
There is a 3-year gap in reading and more than a 3-year gap in math between 8th graders growing up in poverty and their higher income peers.
Students from low-income families dropped out of high school at twice the rate of higher-income students in 2017.
Children of color are 2 times more likely to be born into poverty and constitute nearly half of all children in American public schools.
Throughout this pandemic, these obstacles are intensified. It's crucial that we make an effort to understand these institutional barriers to develop a solution.